I come from Juárez, la ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, right? And so, you know, anybody who knows anything about Juárez knows that there's a lot of blood being spilled on the streets of Juárez. And so, recently I had a cousin who was murdered for like $100 worth of weed, right? Yo, that's crazy, especially coming from a city where it's legal, right? And then I also had an uncle who died of an overdose. He sniffed paint, so he ended up drinking the paint, and that was intense. And so I feel like he always wanted to be an artist, and he never got the opportunity to. And so I figured the only thing I could do is write a poem for him and make sure that his memory was passed on through my art, because he never got the chance to make his own. So this poem right here is called Tío Fernando. Mi tío Fernando era un vato bien chingón. The baddest dude on the block. He was known for having the hardest jaw in the entire city of Juárez. He thought he was invincible, convinced he could shake death's hand and get away with it. It didn't take long before the devil snatched him by his nostrils and dragged him into his tomb. So today, I stand at my tío Fernando's funeral. But it wasn't just the drug lords or the Mexican army that put my uncle 6 feet under. It was the paint that he sniffed out of a paper bag that put the final details to his death. He was only 29 years old. Still had the face of a child and the smile of a 7-year-old in Juárez who still believes in God. My mother told me that I looked just like him. Said she had a dream about me dying in the desert, so she cried. It reminded me of the time that my uncle said, "We're both meant to die young." Said it was a family tradition. See, his mom died at 20 and his father died at 40, so Fernando tried to paint himself a different story. But in Juárez, art classes aren't offered to the poor children. So they climb up through the cerros and graffiti the insides of their nostrils instead. He started painting at the age of 12, brushing over his memories and turning them into art pieces. He was trying to sniff himself a new childhood, one where his father wasn't transparent and his mother was colored gold, one where the air was made from aerosols and you can drink toluene from the water fountain. So he climbed up to the hills and huffed like he had just been crying, wishing he could get so high that he would float up to the heavens and crawl into his mother's arms for the night. But instead, he met the devil, and they talked about their inspirations, about the similarities in their hometowns. My uncle knew all of the devil's secrets, handed me a rag soaked in gold paint and told me I could know them also. I once heard a woman refer to Juárez as the devil's toilet. And the people were stained tissue that didn't make it inside the trash can. Now I understand why the devil chose this place. Mi tía Mela said Fernando never really came down from the hills. My father refused to believe her, so he tracked him down by following the gold paint trails on the sidewalk. He finally found him, scattered on the floor like spilt paint, paper bag still in hand, throat full of dry glue, gold stains around his lips like he had just been making out with the devil. He suffocated like La Llorona's cursed children. Another poor soul swallowed by the dangerous lomas. Another brown child giving back to Mother Earth prematurely. There's something wrong about the city of Juárez. Something spooky. The soil has been soaked in blood, so when it rains, it grows cemeteries. It's just a land of fake promise, with opportunity so close on the lights of El Paso, yet it's so far. Children don't grow up to be painters. They splash canvases with blood spilled from AK-47s, but my uncle never really had the option. He used the paint and the glue to try to paste his soul together.
Rest in peace, Tío Fernando. You're a walking piece of art who no one ever bothered to paint. And I'm sorry it's in words. But today, I breathe your masterpiece into existence. Thank you. Word.